Film Club.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Film Club. I'm one of your hosts, Andy Harrison, and with me, as always, it's Andy Donaldson.
Hello, as always.
Every week in Film Club, we invite you along to watch a film with us, and this week we are taking a look at Se7en.
A film about a serial killer that Detective Somerset and Detective Mills have to go and fight against. Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. More and more time that the serial killer is toying with them and knows where they are, but they kind of get one step ahead, only for John Doe to meet his final fate. That was really hard to summarize because, God, like Se7en is one of those films where the first time you watch it is arguably the best time. This is fantastic. I love Se7en.
No, this is fantastic. It was really nice doing this after Saw because we got to see just how much influence Saw took from Se7en.
Yeah, definitely. We were on about last week about the implicit nature of Saw. There is like grotesque parts to it. To be fair, there's grotesque parts to this film. I mean, you look at Sloth, for example. It still creeps me out. Or Lust. But again, you never see that happening. You just see the kind of like a very kind of background image. You see the device used, and
it wants to show you it through the lens of the detectives. You know, we don't spend time with the victims being tortured. We don't spend time with the victims going through those horrific moments. Instead, what we see is what the detective sees, which is, you know, turning up to the scene of the crime or turning up to the body, and we go from there.
Get this thing off of me! Get this thing off of me! Get this thing off! Get him out of here now!
For me, the first thing that you got to talk about when you're talking about Se7en is David Fincher. Because
the guy just knows how to do it. He just knows how to do psychological thrillers. He just knows how to do it.
And for David Fincher, this was his second film. And
what?
Most importantly, this was almost a film that didn't happen. Because David Fincher had a horrible experience in his first film, which was Alien 3, in which he took, sort of self-admitted terrible advice from the people in the industry. He'd had a horrible time with his crew, and he had sort of sworn off filmmaking. He thought that Alien 3 was going to be his last film. He thought he was never, ever going to make a film again.
I'm so glad he did.
He went and did a bunch of shorts. He went and did music videos. And then he didn't read a script for a year and a half. And then the script for Se7en pops onto his desk and he reads it. And he's absolutely astounded by it. The funny thing is, the script that popped on his desk was a first draft, or it was an early draft. Since then, there'd been multiple drafts after it. And the studio sort of called him up and went, "Oh, hang on, sorry, no, we've got like the up-to-date version of the script in which they changed a couple things. They'd taken out the ending as well. There was no head-in-the-box ending.
What? What?
And David Fincher sort of put his foot down and went, no, we're making this. Like, this is the film we're making. This is the draft that we're going to write here. And between him and Brad Pitt, they sort of fought all the way through to keep that version as intact as possible.
I did not know that backstory about this film. To be fair, I didn't even know this was before Fight Club. I mean, my first experience of Fincher was Fight Club. And anyone who's seen Fight Club just knows just how good that is. And then you look at something like this, or even Zodiac as well. Zodiac is sublime. Mindhunter, the TV series, the more modern one, which is, again, that kind of that thriller, that like sense of despair. You're in an enclosed space. Oh my God, like.
Yep.
Hairs on my back now talking about these scenes. But one of the things that stood out for me is the use of sound design. I didn't realise that Fincher's had the same sound designer for all his films apart from his most recent one. If you think about some of those scenes, like I was with our girlfriend Morag and she was like, "This is really making me unsettled. I'm getting like it wasn't even any gore scenes. I think it was when it was gluttony. And obviously, you saw the body, so you know what it is. And it's that moment where Brad Pitt looks under the desk and he says, "Oh, it's a load of vomit," and just going around, and it's Morgan Freeman trying to summarize what's happened. You know what's here, or even behind the fridge and everything like that. It's creepy. It's absolutely creepy, and it's done hellishly well by the sound design and the cinematography as well, and the direction. It all comes together to build this incredible experience that it's not scary, but it is. It's not. It doesn't need jump scares. It doesn't need dissonant strings. it just needs this hellishly good combination of people that know what they're doing.
It's atmosphere, and you pointed out there the cinematographer as well. I definitely want to give a call out here to Darius Konji, who made this film drip with a intense atmosphere. This is where really the start of Fincher's look comes from. There's a little bit of it in Alien 3, but like that heavy use of yellows and greens and a little bit of sort of like complementary or contrasty blue to go with it to make that sort of sickly, dirty atmosphere, and that all feeds into all that that same sound design's complementing it as well. And it's not like they do this a little bit throughout the film. It's in almost every frame of it, down to the super impressive opening credit sequence, which basically is a music video. And it's also the beginning, I could be wrong about this, but I think it's the beginning of David Fincher's interaction with Nine Inch Nails as well.
You should listen to yourself. Yeah, you say that the problem with people is that they don't care. So I don't care about people. It makes no sense. You know why?
You care.
You want to know? Damn right.
And you're gonna make a difference.
Whatever. The point is that I don't think you're quitting because you believe these things you say. I don't. I think you want to believe them because you're quitting. You want me to agree with you and you want me to say, yeah, you're right. It's all fucked up. It's a fucking mess. We should all go live in a fucking log cabin. But I won't. I won't say that. I don't agree with you. I do not. I can't.
Some complimentary performances, because I think
Yes.
what really needs crediting straight away is Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman knocking this film out of the park.
Yeah, they combo so well. Their chemistries, it works so well because it doesn't work well. Like they're opposed to each other, but then they come together. And then you look at that end scene where it's, Morgan Freeman's running over and he's, oh God, it's so good.
You have a little bit of buddy cop going on, but it's not taken to the
Yeah.
extreme of being, slapsticky or overly comedic. You've got a little bit of Morgan Freeman's reserved nature. You've got Brad Pitt, who's obviously a little bit of hot-headed. He's sort of got that anger to him. And the two of them play off of each other just absolutely wonderfully. And I think that Gwyneth Paltrow does a nice job. She's not in the film too much, but she's a nice complimentary
smallish
actor.
role.
There is one more supporting actor that we do have to address. Unfortunately, you've got an undeniably great performance from a very problematic actor. We've got Kevin Spacey playing John Doe, and obviously what Kevin Spacey has now been found to have done, the things that he is found to be involved with, they're unforgivable, they're horrible, they're not pleasant, we don't condone any of it, but it also doesn't take away from the fact that he gives a really good performance here, and that it really works for the film.
You must understand that Kevin Spacey was a powerhouse of an actor at the time. Like the guy was in a lot of big things. Now, what David Fincher's done really well is by putting that title credit sequence at the start of the film, Kevin Spacey's name's not there at all. I don't think any of the marketing had Kevin Spacey's name on it. So you go through the whole film, and at the end you realise John Doe is played by Kevin Spacey, that, obviously very creepy guy, both acting in real life. But to hide that from the audience, to hide that kind of, that name from the audience, just to add that impact when John Doe comes to Brad Pitt in the detective station with blood on his hands and goes, "You're looking for me." Oh God, it's
detective.
Oh. Yeah, it's oh God.
It's an astounding moment, and even Fincher himself has had there's a wonderful interview with him, if I remember, I'll link it below, where he talks about reading the script and getting to that page, the moment at which John Doe walks into the detective agency, he walks into the police station, and he just puts his hands up and says, "Arrest me, I'm here to be arrested." And he, upon reading that, he was astounded. He seemed to, sort of flick into his script going, "Hang on, there's still pages to go. Like, what's going on here? This isn't how this plays out."
Now, what I really also appreciate about this film is the kind of subtle neo-noir they have going on with Morgan Freeman. He's got the kind of detective costume, he's got the hat, he's got the coat. Everything's silhouetted, when they're chasing John Doe, when they're running around back and forth, when they look at the crime scenes. Everything's set under really dark, and kind of the rain throughout this film, by the way, the rain just really adds to that atmosphere. It's such a great film.
It's awesome. It's clear to me that for David Fincher, this was a film of passion. Deciding to come back and to do a film, he clearly wanted to do it his way. He wasn't going to take the same shit that he did last time. And he poured everything he had into this film. And I think that drips in every single sense of this film. You see care and attention and passion, and you see something that is so laser focused in its writing and its directing and its performances. It's excellent.
And to see what he's gone on and done there on forward, like, I'm so glad he made that decision. I'm so glad.
So, there is Se7en. You can let us know in the comments below what you thought of Se7en. But Andy and I are going to be back once again next week, where we're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to take a look at Punch Drunk Love.
Word of advice, never do that.
Never do what?
Don't punch someone, drink, and then love them. Not cool.
Until then, get watching.